Hey, good morning, Justice Warriors. It is Tuesday, November 22nd. It's just about 8:45 in the morning, and I have made a list. You guys probably know if you've been watching my videos the last few days. I have made a list. It started with 10 things that Ms. Kylie Rodney's case had in common with Ms. Trinity Backus's case. So then that list quickly grew to 20. I read them out loud the other day when it was 25 or 30. I think that was on Friday, one of my videos, probably the afternoon one. Anyway, it has since doubled. So I have over 50 things now, and I'm just going to read them out to you. So everything I say is my opinion only, and it's purely speculation for the sake of conversation, hopefully education, and perhaps entertaining at times. I just like to throw that in there because it's YouTube and that's the nature of YouTube. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and let's get into it. One sec. I don't know if I should start at the back or the front. I often start at the back of things, so let's just go ahead and do that. So in both of these cases, their biological mothers seem to show no anger or frustration with the lack of accountability both towards law enforcement and towards the people that were around them when they had their misfortune, shall we say. I can talk, my mouth works. So both were in the company of friends, I guess, depending on how you define that term. And then they were not in anyone's company and dead. So they went from being around people to suddenly, mysteriously being alone and deceased. Both of these cases had delays in calling 911, albeit Trinity Backus's case was nowhere near the delay of Kylie Rodney's case. But they act as though, in Trinity's case, let me explain that. They act as though they were so freaked out the minute she was out of sight, but yet I think waited an hour before they called 911, approximately, give or take. But I'm not buying any of the story. The whole like, oh, she ran out the door and we chased her. Okay, I'm just gonna stick with my list here. So both cases had multiple stories. Both were reported by, let's see, both of their moms reported them to be very responsible and not party animals. Both inspired a certain citizen to speak out in support of all involved, including law enforcement. So we'll just say a member of the community, a person who lives in the area who has just been running wild across the YouTube panels, defending every single person involved in any way, shape, or form. Defending everybody except, of course, the victims. So both are being blamed by law enforcement for their own deaths, pretty much officially. Both of these young women have a handful of outlaws in their lives, in their personal lives, in their social lives. People with arrest histories. In Trinity Backus's case, we've got fake anti-suspect Ashley and her domestic violence younger boy toy Logan. And then we've got her mother arrested for endangering a minor and driving under intoxication, Jagger driving under intoxication, and then Tony Neiman, domestic violence, a bunch of other stuff as well. So that's just a short list. Anyway, um, both of these victims were insulted by the primary persons of interest in each of their cases. Insulted publicly online, called stupid and things like that. In Kylie's case, it was Jagger, and in Trinity's case, it was fake anti-suspect Ashley. Um, and both of these individuals that insulted these deceased people that they allegedly cared about and loved, they were each some of the very last contacts with the deceased. Neither mom in either of these cases helped with the searching for their lost daughters. Both moms had some of the very last contacts with these missing girls. No Amber Alert for either. No money trail for either. Often law enforcement will look into things that they purchased, bank transactions, that kind of thing, financial trail. That's usually pretty standard. Um, no one else was endangered in either of these two cases, despite that there were other people around doing precisely the exact same thing that these two deceased young women were doing. Both allegedly vanished, and in both cases, no one is suspect. No one. In both cases, there were dogs that had no help. So, cadaver dogs or rescue dogs, trauma dogs that were unable to be of any assistance to law enforcement, which is extremely unusual. Both of these cases had excessively large search parties, like over 100 people. They were both the exact same age. They both had new driver's license. They both had been in conflicts, arguments, upset with people nearby right before they disappeared. Right before they disappeared. They both disappeared at 10, well, no, they didn't both disappear at 10:30 at night. They both had situations at 10:30 at night, right? So, in Kylie's case, there was a whole pile of 10:30s, and then in Trinity's case, 10:30 was a time that was thrown out as the initial time of when she went missing, and it's danced around, I think, since then. Both timelines are questionable. Both of these young women were in essentially unstable living situations. I'm not saying that with a judgment, I'm just saying that um, their home lives were not the most stable. They both had their own cars. They both lacked a strong father figure on hand. It seems like Kylie's father, Daniel, was a very supportive and strong person in her life. However, it seems like her mother restricted the access between Kylie and her biological dad. And then in Trinity's case, we don't even know who the biological father is. And so Trinity was born out of wedlock, I believe. I believe that Lindsay was married to Daniel Rodney when Kylie was born, but I'm not sure about that. So that's a question that I have is were they both born out of wedlock? I'm not saying that they were. That one is a question. So neither of them had an older sibling, a big brother or sister. They both had half siblings that were younger and pretty much the same age. They're half siblings. They were both beautiful, both had green eyes, both had long hair, both thin and tall. They were both allegedly partying when things went awry and they overreacted and died. Both under the influence, allegedly, when things went awry and they ended up DOA. Both had boyfriend types that were not there, allegedly, when this happened, which I find interesting, especially with just kind of the idea that Mags put out there about how she was without boyfriend for a minute and it was so scary. And so both of these girls did not have their gentlemen caller knights in shining armor out there defending them on the front line. In both cases, there was absolutely nobody else that was hurt or missing, right? Makes no sense. Both were with their quote unquote friends when they went missing. I think I already covered that one. Both of them allegedly had contusions to the head. Both of their remains were discovered on federal park property, the Tahoe National Forest to be exact. Both cases, both death investigations, are in Nevada County under the auspices of the Nevada County Sheriff. Both of these situations happened in the great outdoors, and they were both missing persons and then discovered deceased in the following days. They were both missing a shoe or shoes. Both families have had or have GoFundMe accounts, I think had. In both cases, nothing was really mentioned about the last few days of these young women's lives when they were missing persons, and you would think that they would put all the information out possible in efforts to find these two. Which brings another one that's blatantly obvious is they both had very inaccurate missing persons flyers to begin with. And Trinity's didn't even have a last name. And Kylie's didn't have a location. I mean, Nevada, no. I mean, Nevada County, but no, it was Truckee, Prosser Creek area, but not an exact location, not an address, even though they said they had videotape of her at the party in the Odd Future hoodie. And then, of course, there was the photograph circulating around from the still shot from the surveillance footage at the deli convenience store that she allegedly stopped at roughly 6 p.m. that night of August 5th. Both of these young women have stepfathers who have marijuana growth operations, and both of the families involved do not want anyone to look for or get any information or answers of what happened to their loved ones. So that list is well over 50. It was exactly 50 that I listed, but there were a couple more that were thrown in there. So I'm curious if there's anything else that people want to add to that. Please do. Please put it in the comment sections below. Send me an email. Um, I'm blown away. I don't know if I might do a list of the things that they don't have in common. I don't know. Maybe. But so right now I'm at over 50. And I got to tell you, when this list grew to over 40 last night, I hadn't even really been trying to list things or to list more things. It was once that it got that big that then I did try to get a few more, and then that wasn't too difficult at all. So when people try to say that these cases aren't related, I didn't even list the people that might be related, like Sunshine Fowler, Frances Fowler's mother, that was at Kylie Rodney's memorial service or celebration of life, and how her son was dating Trinity Backus and had been dating Paisley McConan Woodard, who died a year and 10 days approximately prior to his second girlfriend that died. So yeah, that's extremely sad, especially for the deceased. It's extremely sad for anybody who knows them, and especially their families, younger siblings that are going to live their whole lives with this tragic history. So on that, I'm going to ask you guys, if you feel so inclined, to please hit the like button, share, subscribe, if you feel inclined. Um, I'm just kind of blown away with over 50 parallels. And let's see. I don't know that I really want to say anything else here. I mean, this was really just going to be the list of these things. Well, I do want to mention where we're at with some other cases. Last night, Lalani was arrested in the disappearance of her beautiful little baby boy, Quentin. So that's good that somebody's being held accountable potentially in that disgusting tragedy. Um, we're still hoping to find answers for what happened to the four college kids at the University of Idaho that were massacred on, what day was that? On Saturday night or Sunday morning, the 21st? And then, or no, that would have been the 20th. Um, and then also the, well, I guess there was an arrest already in the shooting at the University of Virginia, but then there was also the shooting at the nightclub in Colorado Springs. So I'm getting my wires crossed. Sorry, I haven't had enough coffee. The 13th, a week ago from Sunday, was when the two university tragedies happened. And then it was just on the 20th, on Saturday night, the 19th, that the shooting at the LGBTQ club in Colorado Springs happened. And yeah, on the news this morning, I saw a guy speaking whose family members had been killed there, and he was the one who not only tackled the guy, but beat him with his own machine gun. Um, pretty unbelievable. So many tragic occurrences, and people want justice. Ideally, I think people want protection so that these things don't happen. But of course, when they do happen, there needs to be law enforcement that is taking the case into their own hands, of course. I mean, grabbing the bull by the horns and doing everything possible. Law enforcement is sworn to uphold the highest ethical standards possible. So, they're sworn to serve and protect, and in most cases, law enforcement are absolute heroes. And in these cases where we're scratching our heads wondering what they're doing, I think that it is important for them to be held accountable. And if they're not enforcing the law, if they're not holding themselves to that high ethical standard, then that needs to be investigated. And it just can't happen. So, on that, I want to say, everybody have a great day. Take good care of yourself. Drink your water, eat your protein, eat your fruits and veggies, get your exercise, stretch, breathe. What is that old movie and book, Eat, Pray, Love? I've kind of been reminding myself of that with the way I close my videos. Anyway, just be well and be happy, healthy, and whole, and be honest. Be honest. I think that's extremely important, to be honest with yourself and honest with others, and just do your best. So, on that, peace. I'll see you probably this afternoon on another video. Thanks. Take care. Thanks for watching.